So what we have here is a yellow perch. Yellow perch, they are a freshwater fish. They're pretty common here in North America, and there's over 200 species of perch throughout the world. They are a ray fin fish, which also makes them a vertebrate. Taking a look at the overall shape, you can take note of their thin and streamlined appearance, which helps to enhance their speed in the water. Another feature that we could see is how relatively large their eye is compared to their head. This would help them find prey and hide from predators. Taking a look at their mouth, it's a little stuck together, but perch and members of the perch family are masters at craniokinesis in that they can open their mouth up almost kind of like a bucket, and when they open it, it creates a vacuum that allows them to suck in their prey. Lastly, the last thing I want to take note of here on the outside is this lateral line that runs laterally across the fish. This will help them sense changes in the water like vibrations or water currents. So we'll get into it here. And taking a look inside, already cut it open beforehand. The first thing that we'll take note of here is the eggs. The eggs take up nearly this entire body cavity here. And given that they are eggs, we can also tell that this would be a female. And we can also see a structure here towards the front. This is going to be the liver. The liver is usually a fairly large internal structure in any animal you dissect, whether that be a frog or anything that has a liver. So taking a look towards the top, you'll see this open cavity right here, and that's going to be the swim bladder. The swim bladder is a pretty interesting structure in the sense that it kind of goes hand in hand with lungs of tetrapods. The swim bladder is primarily responsible for maintaining buoyancy in the water column. They work by being filled up with gas, not through inhalation, but they get the gas into the swim bladder through the circulatory system, through gas exchange in the blood. So also right above the swim bladder, you can't really see it here, and we probably won't be able to see it today, but there's also going to be a few other structures, mainly the kidneys. So now we can remove the eggs and really get into it here. And we'll look at some of the structures that are hiding behind said eggs. So now, after we have removed the eggs, you can see this tube right here that runs along the bottom. It looks like it's kind of squished, but that's just because of how many eggs there are. In a male, it probably won't be like this. But this tube right here is going to be our intestine. This intestine runs all the way down here to our cloaca. This grayish structure up here towards the top, kind of under the liver right here, that's going to be our spleen. And also near the spleen, under the liver, let's see how well we can look at this. It's going to be our stomach right here. Kind of hard to see, but right here under the liver, that's going to be our stomach. So now moving further up, we're going to make an incision right along this line right here, and we're going to try to look into the pericardial cavity and get a look at the heart. So the best tool to use for this, I would say, would be scissors. And I would also say don't be a little scared to put some strength into it, because it's not the easiest, as bony fish usually have pretty tough skin and scales. So we're just gonna try to get into that the best you can. It also helps to angle it upwards a little bit so you don't damage any of those structures that are hiding under there. Just take your time. The most important thing is to not damage any structures that you want to observe. He's got some thick muscle. Here we go. Let's see if we can't get a better view. But right here, you can already see this dark spot right here. That's going to be the heart. There we go. So first thing I'll take note of is the gills right here. The gills are primarily responsible for absorbing oxygen in the water and taking that oxygenated blood to the heart, which we can see right here. Now in perch, at least, perch have two chambered hearts, so they just have an atrium and a ventricle. So oxygenated blood that comes from these gills will go to the heart, and then from the heart to all of these existing structures. So with that, I would say that about wraps up this dissection. For the male perch, the GI system will be a lot easier to observe, as it won't be as squished down, and the testes are not as large as the eggs, so you probably would have an easier time getting to structures that you would like to observe. But for the most part, I'd say this was a fairly successful dissection. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something today, and thank you for watching.
Directed by Karl.